Over the last few years, I've been tempted to get into film photography. If you've been following me long enough, you'll know that there was a period of time where I shot one roll of black and white film until that camera broke after that roll. But I never committed to shooting film because I didn't want to be doing it for the wrong reasons. I was worried I was only getting into it because I was following a trend, shooting with other people who shot film, or listening to my favorite influencers. Because of this, I never bought a 35mm camera, and I always hesitated. But recently, one of my friends gifted me a 35mm Ricoh film camera, thanks Michael, and he also gave me a roll of Pan 400 and Portra 160 to start. While writing up my thoughts and recording this voiceover, the roll of Pan 400 is at the lab, and I still haven't received my scans yet. The Portra 160 has 1 or 2 shots taken with, so these are very fresh thoughts about what I've learned from my first roll of film. Before I get started, I do just want to say I know I've been super consistent and I keep telling myself that I want to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year, and we're over halfway done with the year. So if you could comment, like, and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Just trying to push to that 1,000 mark. So the first thing that I learned or kind of noticed is that the instant gratification you get while shooting digital makes every photo feel a little less impactful. And what I mean by that is when you're taking a photo with your digital camera, you can take the photo, get playback, and see whether the photo was good or not. Did you frame it well? Was the lighting good? Was it interesting? With film, you can't do that. And so what I kind of found myself doing after every shot that I took was thinking back for a few minutes. Did I get the right shot? Was the composition okay? Was the moments good? Was the lighting good? Did I focus it? Was it exposed properly? Kind of all these things were racing through my head, and I'm trying to picture the image in my mind that I took since I can't actually see it. And even days later, until you get your scans back from the lab and processed, you don't know whether you took any good photos or not. It's definitely really interesting, or at least really different. I don't know, it's probably not a good or a bad thing either way, but it does just kind of make every frame feel a little bit more impactful after I took the photo, and I'm just thinking about it in general more because I don't have that instant ability to just see if I took a good photo or a bad photo. And the second point is something that's pretty basic, and I feel like it's probably been talked about a ton before, but every shot kind of feels like it counts way more. The 36 exposure took me a few days to get through when I go to the bodega around the corner with my GR3, I can take 36 photos easily. And I think it just really made me kind of take a step back. And before every photo I took, instead of just saying something interesting and like seeing an interesting subject and then just snapping the photo away with my digital camera and I can delete it later if I don't like it, I really had to think whether this moment, this scene, the subject was good to capture because I only have a limited amount of exposures. I know over time, I'm definitely going to get more confident with shooting film and definitely just, be able to shoot more. But it is kind of nice thinking way more about the photos I'm taking and whether they're actually worth taking. Usually when I'm shooting digital, if I see something that's like 5% interesting to me, I'm going to take the photo because it doesn't matter. I can just delete it later in post. But with film, I definitely have thought a lot more. There's a lot of photos that I just haven't taken because I just knew they weren't going to be, fantastic photos. I also feel like in general, my ratio of photos I've taken with film to the ones that I actually liked is definitely much higher than with digital. With digital, I come away with hundreds of photos on a photo walk and probably like 2 or 3 of them, and maybe 8 to 10 of them are like postable. With film, I feel like I probably came away with like 10 postable photos that I liked, but I only shot 36 exposures. So the ratio is definitely better, and it's not a good or a bad thing. I don't think it's black or white or anything like that, but I do think it's just it really has gotten me thinking a lot more before I'm taking photos about what I'm actually taking a photo of and how does it make me feel. How is it going to make, the viewer feel? And is it a good photo or is it a bad photo? And I've taken less bad photos and I've taken more decent photos. And the third point is film is way more confrontational than shooting digital. It's just harder to kind of get around the confrontations. With the GR3, I've never had a confrontation with anybody because it is very easy to just be like a ninja and snap away with this little point and shoot camera. People never notice it. They think you're a tourist, or it's just easy to kind of hide it. But with this camera, I have to actually, pull the viewfinder up to my face, take my time, expose it, make sure it's in focus, frame it, take the shot. And this camera is very loud as well. And the first day I was out shooting with it, I think probably on like my 6th shot, some lady got mad at me. And then the next day, this old man got mad at me. And that's something I'm not used to. And it's not something that's going to stop me from taking the photos I want to take. But it is just a very interesting observation. As someone who comes from the Ricoh GR3, and even when I was shooting with the Canon R6, there's just so many different ways of kind of hiding the camera to where it's not very noticeable. But with the film camera, you kind of can't avoid that. And I think overall, it's going to make me a more confident street photographer, and kind of, allow me to get into these situations and learn from these situations where I have to kind of diffuse a situation and interact with people and whatnot. And so, again, it's not a good or bad thing. When you're shooting street photography, actual street photography, there are going to be moments where people notice and people are going to talk to you about it or confront you about it. And that's just a part of this art that we do. But, if you can avoid it, it's always nice. And I feel like it's way less avoidable with the film camera than with my GR3. So those are the first 3 things I noticed and learned shooting film for the first time, or first time in a long time. So I'm definitely not going to be making any more film content because I'm such a noob to this. And I want to make this video from like a very new person perspective. I wrote some thoughts down and kind of decided to make a video about it. And so that's why I did this. But I'm just going to kind of let this film photography journey take me wherever it wants to take me. I don't know if I'm going to be shooting street photography on film. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll explore other genres. Maybe I'll ditch digital, go fully analog, and maybe I just become a full-time film photographer. But I'm going to put absolutely 0 pressure on myself for any of those things because I'm just going to let this take me where it wants to take me. I'm kind of excited to just kind of have another thing to learn and get creative about, and just another kind of creative tool in my toolbox. And so, yeah, maybe a year from now, I'll update you all on my analog journey and whatnot. But if you do want to see photos from, my film photography and digital photography, make sure you follow me on Instagram at @thejohnfernandez. I hope this video helped you out in some way. And if not, just let me know down below what your opinions are on what I said. And, do you like film? Do you not like film? Would you learn, doing film photography, or, whatever it is, just let me know. Let's have a conversation. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one, whenever that will be. But peace out, guys.